Welcome to a KeySmash Studios tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create an animation in Unreal using a level sequence. This will be a part of a 2-video series based off a request that we got in our Discord. If you would like to join that, the link will be in the description below. The request consisted of having a ghost go in front of the player, and then whenever the player turned around to run away, another ghost would be there waiting. This part is going to be the animation of that ghost, and the next video will be creating the trigger box that will activate the animation. As you're watching, if you find this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm starting off with a C++ project first-person template. I haven't imported anything extra in, and to go ahead and begin, we'll create a folder, and we're going to name it Ghost. And then inside this folder, we're going to import our ghost object. You want to make sure that your uniform scale is 0.1 when you import in, as the actual object itself is a little large for the scene. I got this object from Open Game Art. I will provide the link for this in the description below. I had some issues importing the original object into Unreal. I ended up having to import it into Blender, export it as an FBX there, and then import it back into Unreal. You may or may not have those issues, but if you have issues initially importing it into Unreal, you may want to try doing that in Blender. So we're going to go ahead and bring the ghost into the scene. I'm going to give it a 300 in the X, a -300 in the Y, and a 300 in the Z. From there, I'm going to go up to Cinematics, add a level sequence. I'm going to put it in our Ghost folder and name it Ghost In. You can go ahead and click Save, and then we want to go up to Track, Actor to Sequencer, and then look for your ghost. If I go up to this play button, you can see that you can type in your start and end points. I'm going to leave my start at 0, and I'm going to change my end to 90. For those of you who don't know what FPS is, or a keyframe, FPS is your frames per second. So in this case, you can see that our frames per second is 30. Which means that with our endpoint of 90, this animation will be 3 seconds long. And a keyframe is a way to save a property's value to a specific frame, so you can change those values throughout the frames, creating an animation. To go ahead and begin the animation, I'm going to drop down my transform, drop down my location, and click on my Y value. The reason I'm doing this is so I only keyframe my Y value. If I click on transform, it'll keyframe everything below it. The reason I don't want that is because I'm only changing the Y position of my ghost. So if I wanted to move it along the X-axis, then I could still do that, and the animation will play in that new X position. If I keyframe the X position, even though I'm not moving it, whenever I play the animation, if the ghost is in a different position on the X, it'll pop it right back to that keyframe and play from there. So I'm going to go ahead and click back on Y, and then I'm going to add a beginning keyframe, and to do that you click Enter, and then I'm going to go out to 60. I'm going to move my ghost out to the middle, sort of in front of my player's view. And then I'm going to click Enter again to add a keyframe there. And as you can see, this creates a little trail that shows our animation for us. Then what I'm going to do is drop down my rotation, click on my yaw. I'm going to add a keyframe here for that, so that way it starts at that 0. And then I'm going to go over to 70. I'm going to rotate my ghost by about 90 degrees, and then go back and click Enter for that keyframe there. So now if I go down and click play, you can see the animation of the ghost going out and rotating towards the player. I also want to show you how to add other properties. So if you go up to track next to ghost, you can see the properties here, and I'm going to add actor hidden in game. I want to go back to 0 and click on my visibility and add a keyframe here, and then I'm going to go out to about 85, turn off my visibility, and add another keyframe there. So now whenever I go back to 0 and click play again, you can see it turns and then disappears. So we can go ahead and save this. That's all I'm going to be doing for the animation. We can go back to our scene, and then you want to find your ghost in level sequence. And we're going to scroll down to the playback section. I'm going to autoplay for this video. I'm only checking this off temporarily. In the next video, when we use trigger boxes, we'll use the trigger box to play it. But just so you can see the animation play in game, I'm going to have that clicked for now. You want to make sure you have don't loop on. It should default to that, but just in case. And then you want to make sure you have pause at end checked. The reason we're pausing at end is because if you don't have this checked, it'll go back to its 0 frame and pause there. And our 0 frame is it being in the corner invisible, and we don't want it to be visible after it's turned its visibility off. So we're going to have it pause at the end for that reason. So we can go ahead and test and play. And as you can see, the ghost comes out, turns towards me, and then disappears. So to recap what we've done, we used a level sequence that was under the cinematics tab to be able to animate a basic object in the engine. In the next video, again, we'll be creating the trigger box in order to play the animation, which will be based off when the player overlaps it. I also want to let you know I'll be creating another animation outside of this video that has a ghost starting in the middle behind the player and going back out to the side, as that was part of the request. And the reason I'm not doing it in a video is because it would be the same as what we've already done, but with different keyframes. However, I wanted you to be aware, so if you watch the next video and see that there's 2 ghosts, you know why. As always, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can leave them in the comments, or feel free to join our Discord and ask them there. The link for that will be in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.